Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I just wanted to share a quick little Instagram live that I did with my friend Meredith over at the Quantum Biology Collective. I have a little friend here with me. That's probably the noises that you're hearing. I'm wearing this lovely baby wrap, which is just fantastic. But I just wanted to share this live with you and to let you know about the Quantum Biology Summit. It's going to be on a replay for free the weekend of October 29th and 30th. So make sure you check that out. That's going to be linked down in the information section. It was a summit that took place over the summer. And if you missed it or you want to catch that replay, the replay is going on for free again next weekend. And so I wanted to make that available to you guys. We talked about that a little bit in this chat, as well as just some circadian strategies, the importance of light in our health, and all the fun stuff I usually like to talk about with my quantum friends. So I hope you enjoy it. And again, check out that link to join the summit again next weekend. And I'll talk with you again soon.
Hi, good afternoon. It's Meredith from the Quantum Biology Collective. The Quantum Biology Collective is a collaborative network of practitioners who all, hey Sarah, who all use quantum protocols and the science of mitochondria and light in their practices. And today we are talking to Carnivore Yogi. Hi, Jim. Good to see you. Hi.
Good. How are you?
How are
You have a
you?
little.
Okay, oh my God.
He's sleeping for now. It's been kind of a little bit of a fussy day today, but we've just yeah, the
Oh,
quantum baby.
Sarah. I'm gonna just gush for a few minutes and everyone's gonna have to deal. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna cry.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
He's
Sarah.
2 weeks today. Yeah, little
Wow.
sweet.
I'm just having a moment. What a wonderful welcome to the world, sweetheart. We're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here.
Oh,
How are
good,
you?
good.
How's it
It's
been?
you know, newborn in your 40s. It really hasn't been that bad. We've still been able to get out for sunrise and sit out on the porch and get morning light, and I feel like that's really helped a ton with a little, and he's sleeping for 4 hour stretches at night, and so that's good. Yeah, yeah. So it's not as
Wow.
bad as I thought it was going to be.
Well, you definitely are feeding
Oh
him some high
yes,
quality
yes.
milk there, Mama. So he's getting all the things.
Yeah.
So got some good sleep
Yeah.
stretches going. So you do as well. And it's fascinating. I've gone overseas twice in the last 6 months, and it was the first time I traveled since getting really serious about quantum protocols. And I
Yeah.
was really worried about the jet lag because I was like, it's going to get, I'm so sensitive now, it's going to get thrown off. And I actually found, because I'm so light sensitive, the jet lag was much
Oh, that's
better
good.
than it had been in the past because as soon as I went outside, my body was able to adapt and it was not nearly as painful a process as it has been. So hopefully that is true
Yeah,
also for
and
breastfeeding
I'm
mamas.
really kind of conscientious when I do wake up. I have this little amber clip-on light that I got from Amazon, but it's really, really low light. And I wear my blue blockers. I just keep them beside the
Mm-hmm.
bed. And when he wakes up and it's time to change and feed, then I put on the red blue blockers and just put on that little clip-on amber light because I think it's pretty benign as far as like light goes. It's not like turning on a bunch of overhead lights, and
Mm-hmm.
just feed and change. And he usually just goes right back to sleep. I go right back to sleep. And I feel like, it's not as bad as if I didn't have the blue blockers and had all the lights on. So, yeah, it's a little bit of an adjustment not getting as much sleep as I was, but it's not horrible. And I'm doing things like, drinking structured water, getting tons of minerals, and, just being outside as much as we can, going out in the yard barefoot, and I walk around with him, and it's been lovely. I've just really been enjoying newborn phase like a million times more than I did almost 15 years ago. It's a totally different experience.
Wow. And what like a beautiful life opportunity to be able to
Oh
circle
yeah,
back and do
it's
it all
it's
again
wonderful. My husband and I are just like,
with
it's so
all
cool. We
wisdom.
get a kind of a second chance to do all the things kind of over that we want to do over, and so it's been really nice to get to do that. And he's just wonderful. I mean, he's already back over his birth weight by like 7 ounces, and he's 2 weeks old and growing really well. He's in like the 98th percentile for height and weight. Like he's a great baby. He really is.
Oh, it's so wonderful. Can we have another peek? It was sorry, I love baby so much. Look at
Say
him.
hi.
Look at this little miracle. Hi, sweetheart. Hi. So, Sarah, thanks
Yeah.
for bringing him. Thanks for showing him. And like, what wonderful advice. I remember talking to my friends, like when we were all new moms, and they were like the iPhone had just come out, and they were like, "Oh, it's so great! I can just like watch movies
No.
while I breastfeed in the middle of the night." And I remember I didn't know anything about this at the time, but I remember being like,
Mm-mm.
"Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna
Mm-mm.
do that." um, but yeah, what those are like really helpful tips if anyone on here
Yeah, I
is
still do the
having to
same
wake up in the
phone
night
hygiene
for
that I
baby
did
for any other
before
reason.
he was here. At 8 o'clock, I try to turn off the phone, put it in a Faraday bag, and I don't pick it up again until the next morning, until 8 or 9 o'clock the next. I still keep those rules, even though I might be awake in those
Yeah.
hours. I think the worst thing I could possibly be doing in the middle of the night when we do wake up is looking at that phone. Like I said, little amber clip-on light next to the bed and blue blockers. And, we both just go right back to sleep, do what we need to do. But if you're watching your videos on your phone or going on Amazon or going on social media, not only are you messing up your brain, but you're also telling, your brain that it's new solar noon, in June. So it's a very confusing signal for your body to be getting. Yeah,
Absolutely. And you know the
exactly. Oh
baby's
yeah.
probably getting some of that light as well. So yeah, for anyone who has a child who's having trouble sleeping, like absolutely the light environment, if they when they do wake up in the night, keep it dark or like
Yeah.
you said, like a red
Yeah,
night light or a
Red
little red
actually
or something like
has,
that.
I have a bunch of their night lights just scattered around the house, and those are actually great. Their red night lights are really good. I have them on the stairway, in the bathroom upstairs, just in different areas of the house, so that if you do need to get up and walk around, it's just a red night light. So those are really good. I suggest those.
Cool. And for people who are new or who are just joining, do you want to explain a little bit about why we would use red lights
It's going to be the
at
least
nighttime?
disruptive to your circadian rhythms. Everything that we try to do, everything that I've learned that's improved my health has been centered around supporting my circadian rhythms. Diet's important. All those things are important. They're great, like pillars. But if your circadian rhythms are off, you're going to be spiking your cortisol, spiking your blood sugar, and really messing things up for yourself. And so red is going to be the least disruptive for those circadian rhythms. If you do need to get up in the night, it's the closest to like the ambience of sunrise or sunset. If you've got like a big, I mean, even like these kids' night lights, they have like horrible blue lights and they're super bright. It's like, that's not a good night light for your child. If you need one, have a red one. That's what we've used even before he was born, for my daughter, my husband, any of us. If we need to go to the bathroom in the night and have a little light, it's in there. So we have to just kind of look at at life, even in the daytime, just the 24-hour clock as what's circadian appropriate for this time of day right now so that I can best support my health.
Right. And so turning on a regular light bulb, definitely a screen, but even really any kind of commercial light bulb at night
Oh
is
yeah,
going to be
absolutely.
disrupting these rhythms.
Again, like I said with the phone, when you're looking at your phone, we have this super chiasmatic nucleus in the eye that's connected to the hypothalamus, which is like tells your body this is what time of day it is. This is how our body knows what time it is. And I think a lot of people don't realize we secrete specific hormones at specific times of day in response to the light that comes into our eyes. So if we're waking up in the night and turning on a bright overhead light, again, we're probably telling our body it's, noon in June and it's really midnight. And so our body starts pumping out cortisol and it just messes up that beautiful hormonal rhythm that we're supposed to have naturally when we are in sync with sunrise, sunset, when we're in sync with light cycles as they're supposed to be.
Yes. And Sarah, I'm sure you've probably, looked into this as you have an older daughter and now you have a little special, precious nugget there. This is like incredibly
Yes.
important for children.
Yes, absolutely.
And from a sleep perspective, from a behavior perspective, what would you say to parents who are kind of like, what's going on? What are we
The
talking
book
about here?
by John Ott, I think, is a really great place to look at because there's actually experiments done with children in there that show behavior in response to different wavelengths of light. And one of the things I noticed with my daughter, who is very sensitive to light, just very sensitive to non-native EMF, all of the things, is that when I control the light environment and I don't let her have iPad, I don't let, every now and then she can have a little bit, it's on airplane mode and the screen is red. But, it's a normal thing. We
Yeah.
don't do that. We don't watch TV after certain hours of the day, things like that, because it does affect her sleep. It does affect her behavior. And kids are much more sensitive because their brains are still developing. Their brains are not fully developed until they're like 25. And so they really need the structure of us to help them with the light. I think a lot of kids have sleeping issues now, a lot of teenagers especially, because they're playing video games, they're on iPads, they're on their phones, and they're not using blue blockers or any sort of eye protection. And I think light is just one of those things people kind of brush under the rug because it's not shiny. And, I'd rather focus on the perfect diet for my kids, which don't get me wrong, that is phenomenal and wonderful. But we got to do other things just besides diet for an overall picture of health and definitely for sleep. Sleep is when our body does the most repair work. And it's vital for these kids that are growing. So we really, I can see a huge difference with my daughter if I'm not controlling the light environment. If she, gets a hold of somebody's phone, and which she does every now and then, she'll steal my husband's phone and play YouTube. I'm like, no, ma'am. I can see her get hyperactive and have behaviors when she's as simple as like iPad or telephone with YouTube. So we really do watch the lights here. My husband is used to it at this point. He thought I was a little bit nuts at first, but he sleeps better too. And he notices he doesn't have as much anxiety as he did before. He's like, oh, you're onto something with this light thing. So yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
anxiety is a great, I think. I mean, the two things that I hear most often when I talk to people are fatigue and anxiety, sometimes together,
Yeah.
but either one or the other. And so, fatigue, obviously, if our sleep is not high quality, that, you know, their circadian dysregulation is going to contribute to the fatigue. But let's talk about the
Yeah.
anxiety. Because I think, right now, if anyone who has a phone is going to be
sort of exposed to the news, whether they want to or not. I find like my phone is finding ways to put it in front of me. Hi, sweetie. Um, and there's just so much going on in the world. And I find also when people are triggered by anxiety, like anything, it can be non-specific. It's just something that hangs in the air. What's going on with our hormones and what's going on inside of our bodies that are the light cycles can have such an effect on
Yeah,
how
I
we
mean,
feel
there's a
emotionally.
real issue with dopamine. I think that people are burning through the dopamine to the point where it's not functioning properly, and then they have the anxiety and the depression. They're not getting morning light, so they're not able to really create those natural stores of melatonin at night. And again, it's just a recipe for disaster. But there are actual scientific studies that show looking at your phone and that amount of blue light does really affect your dopamine levels. And I feel like that's, I've read Dopamine Nation by, gosh, what her first name is Anne, but it's a wonderful book. And it just talks about the state of our nation and low dopamine levels and how people are truly affected by this. And it's the cell phone addiction. The thing she doesn't touch on in the book is, yeah, it's the dopamine from like the news and the getting the likes and all the things that we get out of social media, but they don't really talk about the light portion, which is huge. It's like if you just the light portion alone, it is ruining your dopamine. And so, if you are going to look at a phone, I always have my phone screen red. Unless I'm making a post, then I do have to turn it off to actually make sure the colors don't look totally insane. um, but most of the time, my phone screen is red. I do it to my family's, their devices, or wearing blue blockers because it's just like I said, your phone is the same intensity as solar noon in June. Not even solar noon in like October, November, December, but you're telling your body that there's UVB available, that there, like all these signals, and it's absolutely wrecking your dopamine levels. And so anybody that has anxiety and depression, the first thing I want to have them to do is to just get a pair of blue blockers, start using those appropriately, turn your phone screen red. You don't even necessarily have to try consciously to limit your social media as much as I want you to, but it starts to happen a little bit more naturally when you don't have that blue light in your phone. I've had so many clients tell me, I turned my phone screen red and I just am not as interested in my phone anymore. It doesn't have the same appeal. And that was true for me when I first did it as well.
Wow.
It's like, yeah, because there is a response happening in your brain in response to the light on your phone, believe it or not. It's a real thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there is an addictive
Yeah.
quality to it. Yeah, and just so people know, you can go into the settings on the iPhone and play around with them and reduce.
Mm-hmm.
If you still want it to look normal, you can reduce the whiteness, and then you can also put it in
Yeah.
to red mode. That is something that is possible to do. You don't need to do
No, you don't need to buy a
or
filter
do
or
anything.
anything to put on top of your phone. You can go on YouTube too. There's a ton of YouTube videos that will show you how to do this for Android, show you how to do it for iPhone, just any kind of phone that you have. Like YouTube is awesome for that. Just type it in there and it'll give you the instructions on how to do it.
Yes. I outsourced that to my daughter. She knows more, but she understands. But now, yeah, it's great.
Yep.
So I click the button 3 times and hit it, and it goes red. So that's just a little practical tip for anyone who's watching, who's new to this. Even just doing that, while you're waiting for your blue blockers to come in the mail or whatever, will be very, very helpful. Definitely. And so you were talking about how the light coming off of a screen is telling our brains that it's solar noon in the middle of the summer. And right now it is mid-October. I'm at a fairly high latitude. I'm up in New York State. You're in Atlanta, so you're in a slightly different place. Could you just talk for a couple minutes, Sarah, about what's happening with the light as the seasons change and sort of why we want to pay attention to that
Yeah,
and
it's so
get in
important
tune
to
with
get in
that?
tune. I mean,
What
I used
what
to hate
benefits?
winter. I used to get really depressed in the winter time. Last winter was the first time because I was plugged in with the Circadian Certified, the Quantum Biology Collective. I was in the middle of getting my certification and just immersed in learning with all of you guys, and it was so fantastic. It was the first winter that I just really enjoyed it and embraced it. I was outside, you know, it was chilly, but I embraced the cold. The light shifts, it changes in the wintertime because it's the time for healing, the time for rest. It's the time, it's melatonin season. We're supposed to make more melatonin, sleep more, experience more darkness during the winter time. And a lot of people live their life as though it's a perpetual summer. You know, they turn what we talked about earlier in this live stream. If you missed it, go back and watch it when we're done. But they turn all those overhead lights on. They keep the heat on in the house. They never go outside. If they do, they've got coats on and they're getting right in the car, and the car's already heated for them. So people are not really experiencing winter. They're kind of experiencing this eternal summer. And winter, again, is this wonderful time. We do have less light. It's the time where we're supposed to make more melatonin, and our bodies are supposed to heal, you know? So if we don't embrace that, right, we're missing out on some really wonderful regeneration time. You know, we talk all the time about autophagy and apoptosis and all those things. But if you're not sleeping, if you're not experiencing darkness, you're not getting it. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. So it's just as important, if not more, to go outside and get natural light at sunrise, which is when the sun is between 0 and 10 degrees. Again, UVA time, 10 to 30 degrees, which we have a ton of UVA in winter. We still get UVB here, but it's not enough to really synthesize vitamin D because the UV index doesn't get above a 6. But a lot of places don't get that. And then at sunset again to get that beautiful red light. So, you know, all those things are going to tell our body it's winter. This is the time of year. The days are shorter. Make more melatonin, sleep, repair. And it's just, again, it's important that we are exposing our bodies to those natural temperatures and lights that are available in winter.
Beautiful. Yeah, one of the big takeaways that for me is that I kind of thought as winter was like a season you sort of had to fight with. And what I realized is like nature takes care of us. Like nature was designed for us to feel good all of the time. We didn't evolve to feel crappy for 4 to 6 months a year. It's the way that we're showing up in winter that's causing the problem. So going out for walks and doing saunas but just like spending time outside, even when it's cold with no hat on, just letting the sun hit our faces and our heads. Like I had I'm with you. Last winter was a completely different experience than I've had at a northern latitude winter ever before, because understanding how to live in harmony with with our surroundings makes a difference.
And someone said, what about people who live in a place where there are no seasons? I mean, it's be where you are, you know, adapt to the latitude that you're in. That's what this is about. If you're in a place where you can lay on the beach all winter, go for it. You know, lay on the beach all winter. That's great. But if you're in a place like Meredith and I, where there are seasons and things shift throughout the year, then our bodies need to be in tune with the rhythm for the latitude that you're in. With our food, you know, so seasonal local food, more of a, you know, low carb keto approach is more appropriate in the winter. Summertime, we have more sunlight, we have more ability to deplete deuterium naturally. And if you're metabolically healthy, then eating some of those seasonal foods when they're available is more appropriate. So I think that we kind of get so dogmatic about diet and those things that we forget the circadian aspect of our bodies. And when you start to view your health through the circadian lens, it's not as a dogmatic, black and white experience. It's kind of like seeing things as a whole.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
It's really liberating and fun. I always found all of the health approaches to be a bit of a, they kind
Yeah.
of felt like a punishment sometimes. Whereas now it's
Yeah, and I
feels
don't
like
like
an
that. I
adventure.
don't want people to feel punished or restricted. I feel that the more you can educate yourself on what's appropriate seasonally, locally, um, the way that we were meant to live, the way that we evolved, and see through things through that lens rather than the lens of like this dogma or that dogma, it kind of clears out a lot of stuff. And I think people, when you educate them in that way, when I educate my clients, or if you take one of my courses, that's ingrained through all of it, so that it doesn't have to be this like all or nothing type of approach where you feel restricted and you feel like, oh, I'm going to go off the rails. Or no, you just live as much as you can in
Yeah.
accordance with nature, locally, seasonally, and it's not so complicated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
And
fun and
it's
gentle. I
fun
love it.
and
Yeah.
gentle.
Yeah, thank
Sarah,
you for
thanks for
having me.
coming on today and
Thank
thanks for
Hi
bringing
from baby
our
James.
precious
He's finally
sweetheart.
sleeping.
Oh, James,
Yeah,
sweetie. Hello.
thank you.
I'm so excited for you and your new parenting journey. I also wanted to mention last summer, Sarah was a speaker at a summit that we did live, and we had a lot of people miss it. So we're putting it up again. It's streaming live October 28 to 30. And Sarah, you graciously shared
Yeah.
your quantum
This
health
is my
journey,
quantum
which
health
we are
journey. This
seeing the
is this is the
the
reason I
most
got
important
into
results of today.
circadian biology, why I sought you out. I mean, it's like it's all like full circle now. It's it's crazy. Yeah. And you guys, I shared a lot of my fertility journey and how all that came about in the summit. It was the first time that I really spoke publicly about kind of all the painful, awful things I went through, that led me to this quantum health journey that really just changed my life entirely. So yeah, that's in the summit. There's a link in my bio if you guys want to check it out, and I'll put it in my stories too. And I know you've got it on your page also, Meredith, right?
Yes, yeah. So go to Sarah's page, and click, click the link there. The summit. It's free for you can. It's streaming for 3 days, and then if you want to upgrade, there you will get the recordings and also a year membership in the Quantum Biology Collective. And we do really fun, geeky stuff. So if you like researching this stuff, then definitely join us there. We do lots of talks with Sarah, so when she has classes or courses, you'll hear about them, and it's really fun. So come on in and join us there. And the summit is a great overview of all of this science. It's full on. So if you're just a casual health person, just just stay on Sarah's page and absorb. But if you're ready to go a bit deeper, then yeah, definitely join the summit and make sure to find Sarah's talk where you shared about your journeys.
Thank you.
It was really
It was
special.
wonderful it's just wonderful to be a part of such a great community. Just so many wonderful people that I've connected with that are in this quantum health community, and it's beautiful. Everyone is supportive and kind and not dogmatic, and we want to share the word. We want to help people understand about how light can really, really affect your health and make some profound changes, and kind of let go of the woo woo. That we get that label of woo woo, like actually put the real science behind it and explain it for people.
Yes. Thank you. That's a great a great description of what we're all doing here. It's just a collection of people from all different backgrounds, who want to share, collaborate, talk about
Yes.
research, do book clubs, fun stuff.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Sarah.
Good to see you too.
So good to see you, and I'm so delighted to meet James. Jason and I have been like looking at pictures and going, oh. So
yes,
one day
that's
maybe
the goal.
we'll meet him in real life.
That's
I'm
the
glad
goal.
he was able
Yes.
to join us today.
Right. Well, take care.
Okay. Okay.
Bye.
You too. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for
Bye.
being here. Bye, Sarah.